All right, one of the most powerful exercises for erectile strength and lasting longer that I've shared on this channel is something I call the dickup. Essentially, it's a push-up for your penis. And honestly, I've had thousands of men message me about how quickly this exercise transformed their performance, whether it's premature ejaculation, weak erections, or general erectile dysfunction. Within 1 to 2 weeks, many guys see dramatic improvements in their erectile power and stamina. But here's the problem, and this is critical. Most men are doing dickups and Kegel exercises completely wrong. And if you do them incorrectly for too long, it'll absolutely backfire. Your erections can actually get worse, and you won't see the rapid improvement you should be experiencing. There's also a stretching component that almost nobody talks about. And wait until you hear about the second stretch I'm going to show you, because that's the one that brings back morning wood for most guys. I'm Dr. Emma Blake, your trusted men's health advisor. And today, we're going deep on this. First, I'll explain the science behind why this matters so much, because understanding the mechanism will help you customize your routine for your specific situation. Then, I'm breaking down 3 simple stretches you should do alongside your Kegels or dickups. And honestly, the third one you can literally do right now in your chair while watching this video. So stay with me, because this information changes everything. Now, before we dive in, I want you to grab something I put together specifically for this. A free guide called 7 Exercises for Men to Boost Rock-Solid Bedroom Confidence. This is a complete 20-page resource with the exact exercises I give to my clients who want to walk into the bedroom with absolute confidence, whether they're 55, 65, or even 72. No theory, no fluff, just proven techniques that work. You can download it for free in the description below. And hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future videos on sexual performance and men's health. Now, let's talk about why your pelvic floor is absolutely critical for sexual function. Your erection, your prostate, and your bladder are all supported by your pelvic floor muscles. Picture this. Your erection is basically held at the base by a network of muscles that function like a woven basket. This basket is supporting a cucumber anchored to a small tomato. The cucumber is your penis. The tomato is your prostate. These 2 structures work together for stiffness, and they're inseparable when it comes to urinary and sexual function. If that basket, your pelvic floor muscles, is weak and can't properly support everything, or if it's too tight and can't stretch and contract like it should, your erection will suffer, big time. There's a muscle layer called the bulbospongiosus that wraps around your penis like a sling. This is the muscle that helps you do that thing where you can make your erection bounce up and down. You know what I mean, right? If you can't do that anymore, or never could, it's a sign your pelvic floor needs work. When this muscle is strong and able to relax and contract properly, it's a game changer for your stiffness. The bulbocavernosus muscle and the pelvic floor have to be strong enough to trap blood flow right there while you're erect. If it's loose, if it's weak, if it can't contract effectively, your erection won't stand as tall as it should. This is exactly why dickups work so well for so many men. And here's where most guys completely mess this up. Keep watching, because what I'm about to tell you will save you months of wasted effort. Sure, dickups, Kegels, pelvic floor exercises, they work for tons of guys, but they don't help everybody. And you know why? Most men aren't doing them correctly. Those apps aren't teaching you the full picture. Nobody's really showing you the proper technique. And like anything health-related, how do you actually know if it's going to work for you? How do you know you're doing it right? I had a patient who did Kegels religiously for 6 months. 6 months, and his erections got worse, not better. He was frustrated, embarrassed, ready to give up. Turns out, he had the opposite problem. His pelvic floor was too tight. He was strengthening muscles that were already stuck in a cramp. The solution wasn't more Kegels, it was stretching. Within 3 weeks of adding the stretches I'm about to show you, he was back to performing like he was 35 again. Today, we're going to fix that. We're discussing the proper way for men to do Kegel exercises, and more importantly, the critical add-on that will optimize your results. Now, I've made a comprehensive video on the dickup technique and male Kegel exercises that you should definitely watch. But today we're taking it to the next level. I'm showing you a quick and easy addition that will supercharge your pelvic floor routine. So in order to really strengthen and optimize your erection with any pelvic floor exercise, Kegel, or dickup, You first have to figure out, what's the current state of my pelvic floor? Is it weak and deconditioned? Or is it actually so strong, so tight, that it's stuck in a spasm and won't properly contract and relax? Now pay close attention to this next part, because figuring out which category you fall into determines everything about whether these exercises will work for you or backfire completely. Your penis, your prostate, and your pelvic floor muscles, that basket supporting everything, they all have to work together to create stiffness. They work together to urinate, to ejaculate, even to have a bowel movement. Think of it like your arms and hands working together to shoot a basketball. If your arms are weak and your wrists have limited flexibility, you can't get a good follow-through. Your shot suffers. The exact same thing happens with your erection and pelvic floor strength. If your pelvic floor is weak, deconditioned, or stuck in a cramp without flexibility, here's what happens. Your erection will be weak. Your ejaculate will lose its power and force. You might dribble instead of having a strong finish. You'll have trouble keeping your erection hard. You'll suffer from premature ejaculation, finishing before you or your partner are ready. All of this can happen either because those muscles are too weak or because they're too inflexible. This is why Kegel exercises help strengthen erections. But if that basket-like network of muscle fibers cannot relax, if they're stuck, your erection and everything else will suffer. You might even experience constipation because those same muscles are involved in bowel movements. So we're not just talking about sexual function here. We're talking about overall pelvic health. Now, let me introduce you to two terms: hypotonic and hypertonic pelvic floor. Don't worry, this is simple. Hypotonic means low pelvic tone. The power is lacking. You need more muscle strength and endurance down there. Hypertonic means the opposite. Your pelvic floor muscles are strong and developed, but they won't stretch and relax. They can't let nature take its course. Neither one of these states serves you well. If you have a hypertonic pelvic floor, your muscles might be strong, but they're too tight to do what you need them to do. They need to be lengthened. They need to relax. Think of the guy at the gym who's all bulked up and strong, but can't touch his toes. That's hypertonic. If you've been doing Kegels your whole life, doing them for years, but your erection is still suffering, this might be you. Those muscles are strong, but they don't have the flexibility. You've overdone the Kegels without combining them with proper pelvic floor stretching. And here's what's wild about this. Actually, most men have a combination of both hypotonic and hypertonic issues. Some muscles are weak, others are tight. This is why the stretching component I'm about to share should be considered by every single guy watching this video. The proper way to do your Kegel exercises and dickups should include a pelvic floor stretching routine. Look, would you play tennis or go for a run without stretching or warming up? Of course not. But your pelvic floor muscles never naturally get stretched unless you're intentionally doing it. You need to put together a routine that stretches them before you do any Kegels or dickups. Even if you've been doing these exercises for a while, you need to add this stretching routine in at least once a week. All right, here's what you've been waiting for. These 3 techniques are stupidly simple, but the results, absolutely powerful. Don't skip past this part, because the second one is the game changer most men have never heard of. My favorite way for guys to stretch the pelvic floor involves the tennis ball technique, which I learned from pelvic floor expert Lauren Johnson. I have a detailed video on that method. It's easy, affordable, and won't hurt your back. But I'll share 2 more effective stretches with you right now. The first one is called the happy baby pose. This stretch works your glutes, leg muscles, and helps open up your hips, which directly improves your erection strength and sexual performance. Here's how you do it. Lie on your back on a yoga mat or firm mattress. Lift your legs up and grab hold of your feet and ankles. You can steady yourself by propping pillows underneath your butt so you don't strain your back. While you're in that happy baby pose, I want you to do 5 cycles of deep breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, you might not think you have the flexibility to do this. That's fine. The key is to stretch your pelvic floor muscles to enable them to do their job in supporting your erection and urinary flow. You don't need to be a yoga master here. Just do what you can and gradually improve over time. And here's the kicker. This is the stretch that brings back morning wood for a lot of guys. Why? because it releases tension in the entire pelvic region, improves blood flow to your sexual organs, and resets those muscle patterns that have been locked up for years. I've had men tell me they noticed a difference within days of adding this to their routine. If you don't like being on your back in that position, there's another option called the squatting groin pose. This pose stimulates and engages your pelvic floor while improving blood flow to your sexual center. Stand up with your feet hip-width apart. Now squat down and place both arms on the inside of your thighs, opening everything up. Do 5 cycles of deep breathing. If you can tolerate it, try pushing your knees outward with your elbows as you exhale. This really intensifies the stretch. And listen, if you have restricted mobility or joint issues, stick with the tennis ball technique. But if you can, integrate the happy baby pose and the squatting groin stretch into your routine at least once a week, preferably more than that. A well-conditioned pelvic floor that's strong, limber, and flexible will absolutely transform your performance in the bedroom. It may even bring back morning erections, which is a key marker of sexual health. Here's the thing. There's always room for improvement when it comes to sexual health. You should never lift weights without stretching first. And you should never do your Kegels or dickups without stretching either. Most men are missing this critical component, and that's why they're not seeing the results they should. Start adding these stretches into your routine today. Combine them with proper Kegel technique or dickups. Within 1 to 2 weeks, you should notice significant improvements in erectile strength, stamina, and overall sexual performance. And don't forget to grab that free guide, 7 exercises for men to boost rock-solid bedroom confidence, linked in the description below. It's got everything laid out for you step by step. And honestly, the fact that you're watching this and taking action already puts you ahead of most men. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.